Welcome back, everybody. This is Ed Parcaut and myself with Aces 53. Ed, how are you doing today?
Doing okay. You sound like it was the first time you said my name again.
I know. Get
This
Ed's
is
book.
Ed Parcaut.
Yeah. Ed Parcaut.
I don't know him, but I think I know him.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know us, Aces 53, Ed and I are here every Tuesday and Thursday. And our goal for 2024 is talking about how to build yourself out as the authority in your business, in your industry. What are the different ways to do it? So we usually come on Tuesdays, it's just Ed and I. And then on Thursdays, we try and bring in a joker. And what is a joker? A joker is somebody who's relevant to the conversation. They either have a special skill or talent that they're going to share with you guys to help you figure it out as well. So with that being said, I don't know about you, man. I'm having a hard time going this week, Ed. It's just...
That's my week every week.
Is it every week? I'm on that post-travel hangover, where like I was running all the last 2 weeks, and now it's like, okay, once you have time to relax, then you kind of relax and over-relax. So
instead of under-relaxed. No, my problem is, again, I've been saying this, I'm the president of my Rotary, and that's like another part-time job or sometimes full-time. Saturday I was at an event, all day at an event, and then that night I went to a crab feed, my third crab feed in a row. I'm not real big on crab feeds, but that's, you guys have, it's crawfish or whatever. But I had to go because one of my people, my Rotary, invited me. So it's like, okay, I'll go. But it's just, it's constant now. And I'm not trying to complain, but it'd be nice to have some time off to not do anything. But it's just a little different right now. Trying to do a lot of stuff with limited, and everybody get a VA. Whatever. Yeah.
Well, there's something. Don't get me wrong. What's the book that's out there? Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell. That's a good book about what are the things that you could farm out to somebody else. But there's some things that it's just hard to do. Like you were talking about for the crab thing, you have to physically be there. It's walking around, letting your face be seen, shaking hands, talking about the club. There's good reasons.
Actually, I wasn't really talking about the club. I just showed up at my table just for the person who invited me, kind of thing. Because it was her event, and her it was a contractor stuff, had to do with what she's in, her trade organization. So, but it was just, if someone invites me and I get the tickets, they give me the tickets, I'm going. And she was like, here's your table, just in case you give the tickets to somebody else. I'm like, why would I give that's just rude.
I think they look at it is they know some people have a lot going on. I'm at that age because my kid's 6.
You're old.
That there's somebody's kid. Well, I am old and I got a young kid. That's a double whammy. There's something usually going on with all the kids during the day. There's soccer, baseball, volleyball, you name it. And so I do think when people do things on weekends, they just figure people's lives are busy. So they hope the tickets go to a good cause, ideally you being there, but understand that if you can't, hopefully you'll give it to somebody that does show up. I used to be part of a charity group, and there was something called the Dallas Margarita Ball every year.
Yeah, you do that every year. We see.
Yeah. But the thing is, you can't buy tickets. You have to be gifted tickets. And the thing is, what you have to bring for entry is a toy for a kid. And it would always piss me off every year when people would back out last minute. I'm like, cool, well, then you better send your toy. I don't mind if you don't go, but if you decide not to go and not send a toy, that's a kid without a gift. And so I do think, depending on what it is you're giving a ticket to, if it's something minimal, fine. But if there are obligations associated with that ticket and you can't make it, you need to make right on those obligations. So,
yes, sir.
Pissed off a lot of people by saying, great, send me your Venmo for your gift card, or send me the toy and I'll take it with me. People,
or you just ahead of time, you need to tell people, here's your tickets. But if for some reason you don't go, you're still required to send I need your toy.
Oh, we tell them early on, but then when they would have, like, they just were tired and they couldn't find, one of my favorite ones is, well, my tuxedo doesn't fit. Gosh, you've only known for 3 months that it was going. So where's your effing toy? You better go run to Target.
My tuxedo, don't go rent one.
Yeah. But so interesting, because of the last week or two, I thought what we talked about is continuing to, are you showing up in the right places and in the right rooms?
Okay.
And there were a few things I can go off of.
So I can tell you right now, I'm not.
Well, you just showed up to the event, right? So that you could be seen.
I know,
so
but yeah, but and it's, I ran into people I hadn't seen. It was one of those events that I was like, I looked at my wife and go, this is the first place I've been to a crab feed where I don't know anybody.
Wow.
It was
Interesting.
because of totally different industry. I mean, all construction people. And
Yeah.
then a few people, I started knowing people, but I would say out of the room, out of 100%, I probably knew 3% of the people there.
Mhm.
Which when most of the stuff I go to, I probably know 50, 60, 70% of the people.
Right.
So it was good.
Know the majority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good to interact with people you didn't know. So.
And that's kind of where I was going with it is sometimes we go to events for a specific reason. You and I have talked before. If you're going to any event, doesn't matter what it is, have a goal, have an agenda, not just I'm going to show up and throw my business cards. I hope to meet the right person for this reason, that case. And sometimes it's just to go to meet people, right? God, there I'm saying right again. Last week I had to go to
it's
a
okay
gig
here because they're not here to agree with you. Only I
True.
am, and so it's not hurting me. I get it.
That's true, and we rarely agree.
So go on.
Yes, there was an event here in Dallas that somebody was putting on where they said, "Hey, we're looking for people to sit in the audience while we record something for a new network that's going to go on. It's going to go on Amazon, Hulu. What is the Amazon Fire? You know, those type things. So it's not going to be Netflix, HBO, anything, but it's still going to be in
connected
30
with
countries.
Amazon.
Yes.
So is it their live? Do they sell things on there on the live Amazon
No,
Live?
it's just it's called the Global Business Network. It's Bill Walsh's creation with Jeff Crilly. If you know who Jeff is, I know you know who Bill is. But they have people come down, they record segments, and it's all different types of business owners from around the world. And I went to go just sit in the audience and support people and figure out, okay, let's just see. It's 10 minutes from my house, even though I've got a 5.5 hour drive to my other gig. I'm going to swing by in the morning, hang out for an hour, and ended up meeting some really cool people and made connections. And he actually got interviewed for 2 different shows that will broadcast in March. But that wasn't the intent. The intent was to go to meet people and just see who else is out there that we don't know. Because you and I have talked, we go to a lot of the same events over and over again with the same people. And so you go to reconnect with people, and then there's a few new people added to it. But I like going to events where you know 1 or 2 people to then see how many other people can you meet at the exact same time. So it sounds like a lot like that was like your crab thing. What's it called? Because I keep on saying crawfish boil, but you said it's called a crab.
We call it crab feeds out here.
Crab feed. God, I'm so used to saying crawfish boil that I want to say
that's
crab
what you boil
them.
So we don't do we
Yes.
used years ago. Our Rotary did a lobster feed, which everybody calls it feed here because I guess you're feeding people, not the actual act. You know, otherwise we'd have to say salting the crab or something. I don't know.
Steak butchering.
Actually, I prefer to go the one. So there's 2 that I go to every year on an average, and I get a steak at them where my wife can get the crab. I don't want crab because it's too much freaking work and it's cold. It's not warm. I want warm.
Really?
Yeah, they serve it cold.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I've only had warm crab, so
yeah, it's because I had it last weekend. I was like, I'll just have some, and I was like, this is still not what I want. Yeah.
In a similar vein, when I go to the crawfish boils, and a married couple of ours, they do like 3 of them a year, and it's a big deal. And everybody kind of pitches in, and it's so much work for a small piece of meat that I go for. Like they also do the sausage that's in there, and then the shrimp. And I go for the shrimp. I'm like, you guys are fighting and putting in work to get a small piece of a crawfish, and a shrimp is like 3 times the size of it. And all I have to do is peel off a little shell. It falls off like that. So
no thanks. It's just too much work for me. Yeah,
I got you. But back to what we're talking about, it's you still go because that's how you meet people. And that's, it doesn't matter who you're talking about. Bradley likes to say, the more hands you shake, the more money you make. We've heard your net worth is your network is your net worth. So it's what are you doing to get out there and introduce yourselves to other people? And it can be something as simple as even if you go to a networking event, are you asking people, hey, where are you going for lunch? Or are you going to just eat lunch by yourself with somebody you know? And a week ago, I was in Salt Lake, and there was a really good guy named Chip. We should have Chip on one time. He helps people write their books and everything. But Chip is great about networking. So he's like, hey, we're going to go dinner with these 12 people. You need to go. And then he introduced us to everyone. So he's fantastic at networking and introducing other people. Whereas I latch on to like 1 or 2 people I know, and I follow them and go, okay, who are we going to meet with after that? So you need to find somebody who is the networker or the connector when you go to these events. And that's how one way that you can get around and meet new people. And it could be somebody that you can serve, somebody who can help you in your business. But that's what I love about going to live events.
Right. And that was like, and I don't want to brag, but I connected your ass the first time I met you, and I connect everybody if I go to that any event that I go to, if I know the people, because that's how it should be. Help each other out,
Right.
because we're here to, help.
Well, as a matter of fact, you're one who got me on the Secret Knock website, right? Because you're like, hey, go get up in the chair and go take pictures. I'm like, okay.
Well, get up there and I'll take your pictures. What I did, I just, I had the cameras I use for a lot of my stuff are really nice cameras, and I'm like, I might as well take them and use them. And I bought really nice lenses and everything else, and it just I do really well taking pictures. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. I just can see things. It's like when they wanted my book for my website, I put that in my studio. I stood back, took a picture, and it was like the depth and everything in that picture is perfect for what I was doing. And it just happened to be if you saw it in person, you'd go, really? That's how that picture came from?
Yeah. But it's all on the finished product, right? That people see.
That's right. But you're right. It's connecting at certain places. Where are you showing up? And there was something else I kind of wanted to talk about today, and I thought about it yesterday. Not yesterday. Everything's running together. Sunday, because it's my only day off, and I ended up working half of it and doing something else, which I can't talk about because nobody needs to know. I'm just kidding. No, because we're so busy with weather, and the neighbors' trees are falling, other stuff's falling. We dealt with a lot of stuff on Sunday.
Yeah.
We can't handle the rain.
Check on your California friends. Yeah.
Well, it's just we have a warmer winter this year, so it's all rain, not a lot of snow. Democrats will be very happy this year in California because they can go, oh, we're in a drought. We need more federal money. Oh, there's forest fires because we can't thin them. We need more money. Anyway, this is not my regular show. Let's move on.
Yeah. It is weird weather. When I left Dallas to go to Salt Lake, it was closer. It was colder in Dallas than it was in Salt Lake. But when I got home, it was in the 70s. Hence, I lost my voice a good part of last week because I went from cold snowboarding on the mountain to home hot and wearing shorts again. My voice just was shot. But
all right. So here's what you're talking about: connecting, showing up and connecting with people in the county. And one of the things we're going to talk about is connecting with people you want on your podcast or you want to connect with. And we're talking what somebody would call a celebrity, because everybody's a celebrity, somebody. What you need so the question is, should you just ask? Should you hit them up through Instagram? How should you talk to somebody about coming on your podcast?
I think I was talking about this in another group, and maybe it was here. It's interesting because we're always taught, never reach out to the CEO because you're going to have to go through the gatekeeper. And in corporations, that's true. But with people in social media, a lot of people answer their own DMs. Now, you can tell who does and who doesn't. And what's funny is the lower you go on the tier, meaning like if you go to some of the top people you and I know, they answer their own DMs. If you go to middle tier, a lot of times they have a VA because they're so busy still actively being the product and selling and things like that. So like there's a guy that's really popular in solar right now. His name's Luke Ward, a great guy. I watched him talk last year at Door to Door Con, and just brilliant guy. And I reached out to him. I was like, hey man, it was good seeing you again. Thanks for sitting, front row at my event. And a lady came back and said, hey, I'm actually his social media manager, but I'll let him know. Then there was somebody else I reached out to, and we'll kind of drop a hint on a minute ago. And I was following back up with him with a conversation I had there in Salt Lake. And he immediately responded right back. And I knew it was him because there's no way anybody else would have known the topic that we discussed. And so you can just test those things, be like, hey, don't just fanboy all over someone or fangirl, whatever you are, and just go, oh my gosh, your stuff is so great. But if you say, I really appreciated this about your book, this is how I put it into action, or about your class or whatever it is, that's what inspires people. And I did a post about that yesterday, is everybody wants to know that what they're doing has value and made an impact. So just like if you go up, and I can't remember who was telling us one time, if you go up to a celebrity, don't go, oh my gosh, you're just a great actor. But if you say, loved you in this role, it makes a difference. Well, anybody you want to do business with in any form or fashion, it's the same thing. Don't generic comment or fanboy them, but specific metrics that you talk to them about make a huge difference.
Gotcha. But somebody like me who, lived in LA for the longest time, I'd stand in a bagel line with some of the other actors that everybody knows. It's a little different. I'm not a fan. I'm not. I still own. No. Just kidding.
Yeah.
No,
Hey,
because it's like everybody puts their pants on the same way. They're people just like us. There are some that are completely assholes. Well, that's the same in every industry, right? They think they're
100%.
better than somebody else, no matter who they are. So it just, what are you trying to accomplish? Who are you trying to get on? I always say, try to connect with one other person who can introduce you, just
Yes.
because it'll make it a better introduction. Hey, I have this person in front of my, it'd be really good on the website. There's so many times I bring you up on certain things I do, and you should thank me with money, because of the fact that I like what you do and how you do it. I was on with somebody, the person you had told me about, that company, right? That you ran into. I was talking to one of their people, and I was saying, blah, blah, blah. And I explained what and they were like, what? Oh my God, he's got to come in here and do some training for us. It's because I want to help and connect people and help people get better. My phrase that I love is the same thing I tell my kids is, leave wherever you found it better than you found it.
Absolutely. Ironically,
wherever you are, leave it better than you found it. Yeah.
Yes. And people will always remember who connected them to someone good. And that's an important thing. You want to connect to the right people and not just go, oh, I know this person, let me introduce you. Because when you do that, it kind of leaves a mark on you. And that can be a good mark or a bad mark. But like there was yesterday morning on Monday, I connected two people, a speaker and somebody that throws events. And the reason why is I really like the two of them. I think I asked them both independently, do you guys know who this person is? They said, no. It's all right. I'm going to introduce you guys. And I get nothing out of it, but knowing that I think these are two people that can do good work together. Or here in Dallas locally, I have a friend who she's transitioning into a consulting business away from a corporate. And I set her up with a web designer that I really liked, that I thought could help her bring out her brand, not just slap up a website, but really truly help her develop her brand. And they're working together, and they hope to have something done in a month. And I appreciate the web developer reached out to me and said, hey, let me throw you some cash. And I said, no, I appreciate that. I knew you guys would work together. But if you ever know somebody who needs a speaker or there's an introduction you think would be of value, let's barter for that. And that's what makes the difference, because I wasn't in it for the referral. I connected them because they look like, in my mind, there were two people that would make a good match.
Yeah, it's funny. So here's one of the things. Why do people think that we have to reply back to them?
In terms of,
sometimes people just reach out to us about stuff that we'll never want to do, buy these leads. By the way, I have this. I just want to move this up into your top of your inbox again, just in case you missed it. At what point do you have to reach out to them and say, stop?
I just delete. I used to try and respond and help them. And all it does is they think, oh my God, somebody responded. And then they latch onto you like a lost puppy. And I'm like, no. One guy sent something this morning. He's like, hey, you left me on read. I'm like, no, because I deleted it. There was no left on read. I opened it up. It was you. And here's the standard ones I love now. So like 2 or 3 months ago, it was, bro, I love your stuff. Or, wow, I love this. And they ask you a question. As soon as you answer, oh, by the way, I could do this. And I'm like, so then,
no, because can I add to that? The reason I say that is this one's totally different than that, because I do a lot of stuff for podcasting. I don't know if people know I do podcasting and radio, but there's people reach out to me through Podmatch, and I usually get back to them and say yay or nay. Well, I missed somebody who from March of 2023, she reached out to be on, and I didn't get back to her, and she just now today came back and said, guess not, LOL. And like, I didn't want her on my podcast. That's different. But I have had people who have nothing to do with, I didn't engage with them. And my question, here's my question is, a lot of people I get back to comments, a lot of stuff. Those are important to me getting back. But if you're sending me an email, why do you think I have to get back to you?
That is it's just a wish, right? No, I think it depends on.
Do we have to? Is it okay not to reply back?
100%. I don't answer every phone call. It's kind of the same thing. If there's interest, then reply. If not, I applaud their follow-up, because what they say, the fortune's in the follow-up. And there are people that, because they keep trying, somebody eventually gives in. I get an email from, let me see, I probably got one today from her, if I check my junk file. Every week she sends the same thing. Let me see if I can find it. Junk folder. Nope, she didn't send one this week. Okay. Every other week I get one and they're basically the same thing. Hi, I like your profile, ... And I'm like, you just sent this 2 days ago, but I don't see one today. But yeah, here's one that a guy sent me one on January 31st. You know, I've got all this, blah, blah, blah. I do these things. And it's like, okay, you know, he wants to collaborate, but he doesn't give me any information. Or my favorite one is, oh, I love what you do. How long have you been doing it? And what do you do?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
so many of them. Hey, do you want to buy these leads? Do you want to buy this? We got a list for this. We got a list. Why? If I don't get back to you, that's a no.
Right.
It's not like I forgot. I saw it. I must have saw it, or I didn't care to, or it's not that important. There's ways you can get to me. Now, you know, I think the rule is there's like 3% of all the emails get opened, but 90 some percent of texts do. Right. So, or get read, whatever. And well, if it's really that important, you know, then you might have a other way to get through to me.
Ooh, so just reminded me, we need to see, I know he can't do it this week because he's actually going to be here in Dallas, but we need to have Joel back on at some point because February 1st, there were changes that you have to have like terms and conditions, privacy on your website, and something else before you can send text messages and email before
That's been
Google
around for a
starts
while.
cracking down.
The text message thing's been going for a while. The new thing is email. You have to have a WACA. I forget what it is. Yeah. What you have to have on your, and that's your domain. It has to do with your domain.
Right. It has to do with your domain, and Google will start blacklisting you if, you know, they get enough complaints that it shows up as spammy or whatever. So let's, I'll reach out to him because I know he's going to be in Dallas this week on Friday, I think. So he can't do this Thursday, but we'll see if he can
reach out to him and try to get him. But basically it has to do with the fact that the new things that you do will make your email more authentic, that it's truly you and not spam. That's why they're doing it. And I was like, why didn't they do this before?
Because now AI, I'm sure,
because then my emails from my mortgage company wouldn't get automatically put in spam.
Same thing. I did one. What's in store for 2024? Just e-blast, and I don't do them. My goal is to do one a month. Now you and we had on Rob and Alex, who said right now newsletters are a big thing, and Janine Driver's doing a newsletter through another company, Substack, I think is who she's doing hers through. So he predicted it right. Newsletters are the hot thing right now in 2024. But if you're not nurturing your list, people are like, who is this again? And that's the category I fall into. So you should at least, if you don't have a email marketing campaign for when somebody new signs up, then you should be communicating. You know, if you listen to, oh gosh, we should have Martha on at some point. Martha, it's, you know, 1 to 2 times a week. Some people are once a month. Some people are minimum once a quarter to get your stuff out. Because if not, then when it shows up, it's like, oh, great, I guess they're going to pitch us something. So the consistent pattern of everyone we've talked to is value, pitch.
That was some other book. What was that? Jab, hook or something.
Oh, jab, right hook. Yeah. Good point.
No, it's all right. It's funny how everybody's like, oh, that it's old is new, blah, blah. No, it's always worked. It's just people are trying to sell you different takes of it, you know, and different ways of how it should be done today versus how it used to be done. Yes, to stand out more, but pretty much the consistency is the message is always the most important thing, getting it to the right audience.
Yes.
It's always been there. And how to ask is not changed. It's just as we get further on, there's new people come in and they've never heard it. I had this thing with the word hack for so freaking long because hack to me was back when 80s and 90s was what we did and where we could go to jail for what we did with the word hack. And now it's the best way to do this. Because the thing you sent me the other day, I watched a few of the stuff, you know, the event that's going on. I don't want to call them out. And one of them was like how to house hack. And I'm like, okay. And then their description of it, I said it to somebody else who's in the real estate industry, who's way younger than me. And he's like, no, that's just renting out a room.
Yeah.
It's like, no shit. But it's how they're putting together because it's brand new to somebody.
Yes. And like you said, the term used to be a negative one. If you were a hacker before, it was you were doing malicious intent. And now it's popular. Hey, here's a life hack. And that is, how can you streamline something? So is it interesting how terms and words change over time?
Right.
And, but yeah, if you would have said in the 80s and 90s, hack, oh, look at that. He's a hack. That was literally a term.
No, he wasn't a hack. Like, he was a loser. He was a hacker. Yeah, it depends.
Right.
Like that.
That's what I'm saying. But even if you called somebody a hack before, they were a loser. There was something wrong with it. And then hackers were people doing malicious intent, which
actually,
we know.
I think those were crackers, but really the hackers just went in and looked around. But anyway.
Yes. But if you think about that now, like you said, hack is actually a positive term saying, oh, here's a way to do something faster, or here's a trick or tip or something. So,
right. And that's basically because that was 2 years ago in my Rotary. The president one of her things was she's younger, about 10 years younger. And she's like, all right, so tell me a hack of blah, blah, blah. And half the older people are like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. You want us to commit a crime?
Yeah, tell me something that's a shortcut or whatever. Then just say that.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I think we'll see what Joker we want for Thursday. But I have some ideas now after we've been kind of kicking things around.
All right. Well, the most important thing is just helping people, getting you to understand what we're trying to do and make sure you understand that. Don't not reach out because you think they're, won't answer your whatever. You'll be surprised how many people. I've had so many people go, hey, I've said before, I can't believe you called me back. It's like, of course, that's what I'm going to do because you called me and I'm here to help and I'm nobody. But anyway, somebody thinks I'm somebody, I think. So.
Well, that's what I did a post on Monday about the worst advice is never meet your heroes or somebody you admire. Because I found it to be the inverse of that. Every time I've met somebody that I looked up to, it's reinforced. Oh, wow, this is a good person. Now, there's always going to be some exceptions, right? You're going to see somebody
one of them.
Yeah. But it is. There's a lot of people that when you see, you go, oh, I hope they're the same person. A majority of people are this day and age. You know why? Because you used to be able to hide it and be somebody different on stage or on TV or whatever. Now everybody's got a cell phone, a camera. If you're not that person, you're going to get called out really quick. But the amount of people who are open to meeting and discussing and talking to people, whereas we were taught, oh, well, that's a CEO. Literally, my old corporate job, oh, you can't talk to that level because they're there. I'm like, well, we all work for the same company. Oh, no, you're talking above your pay grade. I'm like, well, I didn't realize we were military, but okay. That's what breaks a lot of different places. But if you meet these people that are public speakers or they're out and they're putting events together and stuff, don't talk to them at the inappropriate time. Like, I kind of broke a rule and I talked to somebody in the green room, but I did it an hour or two before their talk. You don't talk to somebody right before they go up.
You should have been kicked out.
It was my chance. But
it's better than talking to him in the restroom.
Exactly. This was a funny story. When I was at on the mountain the other day, it was two guys that got in skiing. Of course, you're going in and everybody's at the urinals and somebody goes, hey, nice watch. Because it's just an awkward thing to say in the men's bathroom. It made me laugh. So
that is funny. I've never done that.
Yeah. He said the joke works better when it's your friend and you're a tall guy because everybody goes, what? So anyway, I think we should end on that note. But yes, I will reach out to who I think would be a good joker for Thursday.
All right. Sounds great. All right. Thanks for being here. We really appreciate you. We've been doing this for, I don't know, a little over a year, live on Tuesdays and Thursdays at what time is it? 10 a.m. And we really appreciate you.
Noon Central, 10 Pacific. Yes.
Whatever. It's 10 p.m., 10 a.m. Pacific. Who cares about the rest? I'm just kidding. And we're just here to help you. And if there's anything you need, reach out to myself or Brian. And the best way you can support us is just going to our YouTube channel, Aces 53, and subscribe. We really appreciate you. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you on Thursday.